Hi everybody, it's Mark Mazzatenta. I'm here to help strengthen your guitar skills, and today we're going to touch on a number of things: composing, music theory, and fretboard knowledge. And I've got my Southern Pecan coffee to help me out today, and my fun coffee mug. So I'm pretty excited because I think in a week or two my 200th video will post, and I'm really happy about that. So stay tuned for that. It also gives me a chance to think about the future of this channel. So I'd really like your help on that. Subscribers, you've been wonderful. My numbers have been going up, and it's thrilling to think that hundreds of people are watching my content. That's great. And I really appreciate that. I would love those numbers to go way higher, and also the watch time to go higher in the number of minutes. I do get donations every now and then, not very often. And I just do this on my own. So I'd like your opinion. Leave your opinions or thoughts in the comments as to how you would like this channel to move forwards, if at all. So I can either stop posting content, because this really takes a lot of my time. It's enjoyable, but it does take time to do this. I could reduce the number of videos, or something else that you guys can think of. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and that'll help me to decide what to do next. Right, back to the video today, and the topic of doing something to create or discover some new chord shapes. And what is that thing? It is to retune one of your strings. I was in the key of C the other day, and I really wanted to hear a lower C in the bass, not just this one, but one an octave below that. So what did I do? Lowered my sixth string to the C an octave below. And that way, I can hear that really deep bass note, which is great. So I would encourage you to try that just to get into a different frame of mind. Then, the next step would be to figure out where your 1 chord is, your 2 chord, and your 5. Because all songs have 2, 5, 1 chord progressions in them. So in my case, my 2 chord would be a D minor. However, my D bass note is now on the 2nd fret. So I've got to figure out a way. Well, I could play my D minor like normal, and just use a finger to come over and grab that bass note. Or I could play. I'll show you these chord diagrams in just a minute. Now my 5 chord is going to be a G7, dominant 7th chord. The problem now is the G bass is way up here on the 7th fret. That's the only spot that G bass note now occurs. So obviously I can't play my normal G chords over here because the bass is now here. So this will be great because it'll force you to think, okay, what are the notes in a G7 chord? G, B, D, F. And where are they on my fretboard? Around in this range, because my bass note's here. So here's a B, here's an F, here's a D, here's a G, here's a G. So I've got some to choose from. I think I'll just use this little triangle. And I'll just use a finger to grab my bass. And there's a G7. A lot of times I like to play a G11, which is a little jazzier. It's an F triad with a G in the bass. So here's an F triad, another triangle. Now my G is here, so I could play that. Those are a couple of choices. And then my 1 chord, like I said, I could play my regular C chords here. Just give myself that open 6th string. I could make a major 7th. I could just play opens. And that gives me a C major 7. I could play the C chord up here and just give myself a bass. So here are the shapes I was using. And once I fiddled around a little bit and decided on the chord shape, then I just drew myself a diagram of it so I could remember what they look like now. And then you can just mix and match. I'll do some 2-5-1s. Here's D minor 7. To that G7, 2, 1. There you go. I've worked out where my 2-5-1s are. Then what you want to do is, I went chromatically now because I've got some new bass notes to work with that were not down here before. So in addition to the open C, I now have a D flat on fret 1, a D on fret 2, an E flat on fret 3, an E on fret 4, an F on fret 5, etc. F sharp, G, G sharp. Then I can start playing normal bass notes starting on the 5th string. So what I did was I messed around with each of these bass notes and tried to see how I could build a chord above those. So a D flat, we haven't had access to that note before. So I had to figure out, there's how I would play a D flat major or D flat minor, and maybe D flat major 7, D flat major 7 flat 5, the next bass was a D. Well, we already talked about the D major and D minor, but here's like D11, flat major 7. That's E minor now. Here's an F. I could play F major 7, or I chose like an F with a sharp 4. F sharp, I could play like a D chord with an F sharp in the bass. Here's an F sharp minor 7 flat 5. G, we already talked about the dominant 7th. This would be a major 7th. Go up another half step, that's a G sharp. I think I'll just play an E chord with a G sharp in the bass. It'd be like E7. And then I'm at my 5th string where things are normal again. So check out the shapes that I came up with, and then I'll just try to just mix and match and play a little bit. So it's fun because some of these bass notes don't exist with standard tuning. And the ones that do exist, they're in a different spot, and you have to figure out where some cool shapes are for those chords. So let me just improvise a little bit using some of these, and we'll see what happens. I'll just start with that 2-5-1 in C. You can ornament, the soprano a little bit. G7. C major, A minor, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, and then I'll go to that E minor. Maybe add the 9th in there. C major 7. C major 7. All right, that's fun. I love those lower pitched bass notes, and it's just a good little workout to strengthen your fretboard skills as well. All right, so I hope you try that. I hope you learned some cool new chord shapes today that you can use. And I really appreciate everyone watching. Thank you once again. I'll see you at the next video.